So why don't we go ahead and get started? Probably by the time everyone has gotten through their introduction, she'll be here, and then I'll just re-instruct. So I'm just going to be kind of your stage manager for today. I will hand it over to Jon in just a moment. But my name is Erin Cronican, and I'm the Executive Artistic Director of the Singing Place Theater. Oh, I just noticed, Josh, I cannot see you. I can't hear you either. So if you have video, we'd love to see you. So we are a nonprofit theater company based in New York City. And we created this education and outreach program we have done a few things like this before in the past, but we really focus quite a lot of our attention on producing productions throughout the year. This gave us a perfect opportunity to refocus our bandwidth toward education and outreach. The Singing Place, the actual name, the Singing Place, is a direct translation of the Greek word for theater. So theater literally means the place we go to see ourselves. So we produce productions here in New York that allow us and the audiences to really see themselves through the work. And we wanted to have the same impact with our education and outreach program. So part of this is a way for our teaching artists to be able to make a little bit of an income during this downtime, and also teaching things that help you become more acquainted with yourself physically, emotionally, and intellectually. And I think that especially this topic today will help us touch on pretty much all of those things. I would love to have everybody introduce themselves, and when you're introducing yourself, and I'll call on you because I know on our grids I can't go from left to right. Everybody has people in different orders, so I'll just call your name. What I'd love to know is where you're calling in from, how you found out about this class, and what you're hoping to get out of these 2 hours with Jon and Olivia today. So I'll start with Jackie.
I live in Tribeca on the river. It's very grim and very industrial right now, but the sun comes around sometimes. Jon had it on Facebook. I think he sent it to me, so that's how I heard of it. I've had friends do Linklater and sent me sometimes exercises, but I always wanted to take it and I never got around to it. So I thought this way I can try it. I do one thing before I leave this earth, I would try it.
That's wonderful. All right, Hester, you're next.
Hi, I'm up in Portland, Maine, and I heard about this through Lillian Klein, I think is her name on Facebook. I just know her as Lily from Boston.
Yeah.
I met her, we were both studying with Tom Todorov, and so that's how I connected with her. And I mean, literally, she mentioned this particular method and recommended me learning more about it last week. I am, I'm really studying acting and resuming that as a pursuit for self-evolution and fun and passion and potentially professionally at this point. Yeah, it's also just for that overall purpose of awareness and exploration. I have been a martial artist for about 25 years, and my husband and I own a martial arts school karate studio here in Portland, Maine. And I also have meditation teaching and mindset coaching.
Oh, wonderful. And just for reference, Lillian used to live in New York City, and she's a longtime friend of the theater companies. And now she lives in Boston. And so it's really wonderful. In particular, with this pandemic, it's allowing us to create programming that people can enjoy from wherever they happen to be. We had somebody who was in Rome last week who is stuck in Rome, but based in London, but from the United States originally. So that was really exciting. Thanks, Hester. Corey, you're next.
Yeah, hi, my name is Corey Trombley. I'm currently in Charleston, South Carolina, originally from Michigan. I heard about this through Jenna Doolittle's Actor Quarantine newsletter.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm predominantly focusing on voice acting. So I'm really trying to connect more to my voice and protect my voice. That's what my hope is. Use it better and protect it. So
Yeah.
excited. Thank you.
Great. So Missy just told me that her sound isn't working, so she's going to type into the chat box, and then I'll read it for everyone once that comes through. Actually, why don't I go ahead and have Joanna introduce herself, and then I'll read Missy's. That way there's no pressure on her, like we're all watching her type. It's, there's lots of pressure. So go ahead, Joanna.
Hey, I was just going to say for Missy, if she tries to log in and out and use like internet audio, that might help just in case, she's
Joanna.
Hi.
It's Liv. I haven't seen you and
Oh, hey.
hello.
Hello, dear.
Nice
We
to
did a
see
play
you.
together.
Oh,
wonderful. That's really great to see you. I'm Johanna. I live in Brooklyn. And as Olivia was mentioning, we did a play, a devised theater play in Sunset Park where I live. So that was cool. I heard about this just from following the Scene Place in Erin. I actually have been watching a lot of Found It in a Nutshell, which Chuck Udo is doing. And he actually had Kristen Linklater herself like on a video thing talking about it. And I really wanted to work more on, working on my breath and my vocal stuff, and I just thought this would be a great opportunity to do more of that because I can only serve that. So just excited to do this class. So thank you.
wonderful. So I've been chatting with Josh. He is on a device that doesn't allow for a webcam. So I've just asked him if he has an ability to turn on his sound, and if he doesn't, then I'll do the communicating for. And in fact, actually, Josh. Yeah, go ahead and communicate with me, and then I will read that out to John, and we'll kind of make it work as best we can. And or John, would you rather he write to you privately instead of me?
In or out? In or out? Come on.
Can you hear me?
On so much
I can hear you, Josh. Yes, I can
All
hear
right.
you. That's perfect.
All right,
Oh, hey.
perfect.
Perfect. All right, let me read Missy's introduction, and then Josh will get you your introduction in. So
Okay.
Missy says, hi, I'm Missy. I'm Australian born and bred. I currently live in New Zealand. We were just talking about New Zealand a little bit earlier. I found out about this course on Eventbrite. I want to learn from this course everything this course teaches, how to make my voice vibrate whilst I recite classical Shakespearean plays and lines, so I improve my classical Shakespearean acting ability. That's perfect. You're definitely going to get a taste of that today. So John is a wonderful, wonderful Shakespearean actor and teacher. So, all right, Josh, we're ready for you.
All right, cool. So yes, the computer I'm currently using has no webcam. I apologize for that. But anyway, I'm from San Diego, California. I'm mostly
Me too.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm a freelance voice actor. And I found out about this with my friend Corey Trombley here. We've taken classes together, we do workouts together, and, I looked at it, and as somebody who's always looking to improve his craft, I figured it would be a good opportunity.
That is fantastic. So why don't I hand it over to you, John? You can do the introductions for yourself and Liv, and then we'll get started.
Wonderful. So fantastic. Let's see. I'm Jon L Peacock. I am an actor, writer, director. I am so happy to see all of you today. What you're seeing me off of is a phone so that I can adjust it so that you can see on the floor and all those different angles and everything. And then I'm looking this way, and that's the computer so that I can see all your wonderful faces. And your wonderful name there, Josh. I can see that as well. So I get a little bit of everything. Yeah, I want to go a little bit more into Linklater and my connection with Linklater and the Linklater exercises in just a second. But I'm Brooklyn-based, Arizona originally. I've been in the city for lots and lots of years, 15 plus. And I'm an associated artist with the Seeing Place, and so happy to be a part of this new series that they have created and to help us with this time. So I just want to give a quick introduction to Liv as well, and then I'll go into my Linklater connection. So Liv.
I'm Liv Hardin. I've been studying Linklater I studied for 5 years. I also taught it not long ago, about a year ago for a year. And so I am very excited to be with Jon today to, help out on this journey of Linklaterness. Right now I'm in Orange Beach, Alabama, but I am originally from Tennessee, but I've been in New York City and Washington Heights for about 8 years. Well, I was in Brooklyn and Queens as well, but I've been in Washington Heights for about 5 or 6 years. Yeah, I went to the actor studio drama school, and that's where I took all the Linklater lessons. So hopefully I can do her justice today for you all.
And Liv is also an artistic associate.
Yes,
at the
I'm
place as
also
well.
an artistic
Yeah.
associate as well.
I didn't realize that. Congrats, Liv. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, great. So let's see. Aaron asked a little bit about your connection to this. It seems like most of you have an understanding of Linklater, or an initial someone's told you about what the exercises are, but not too much beyond that. Is that correct? Does anyone have a little bit more experience with Linklater than what that world is?
Got nothing.
Okay.
But it's okay.
That's okay. So glad you're here.
You don't need to dumb it down. Like I can.
Some master classes back in college, but really my main study with Linklater started about 3 years ago. So a quick little intro that I've gleaned from her book, from her personal biography, and then my personal connection to it. So Kristen Linklater is a British-born theater artist with core training in classical and Shakespearean theater. She moved to New York City in the 60s, came across in close contact with the Stanislavski system, Lee Strasberg's Actors Studio, Shakespeare and Company out of Lenox, Massachusetts, who still teaches and is closely associated with her works today. And really, Linklater Technique was a big influence on her early on. And she really liked these this new way of looking at the whole human body to generate proper vocal technique. Not trying to have any strenuous activity while using the full amount of not only your vocal cords, but your resonators and your whole body to create the sound, because your whole body is the instrument that can fully create the sounds that we have at our disposal. And she wanted to have it more like an athlete equivalent training opportunity, so that it's the same kind of techniques, no matter where you're starting from, no matter where your athletic ability or physical ability starts from. There are techniques that cannot be augmented to you, or that you can learn straight on to help you to strengthen your instrument overall. Learning how to free the natural voice, which is her book, became a lifelong endeavor. Her first book, first version of it, Freeing the Natural Voice, was released in 1976. So that's when it first was introduced to the world. And in 2006, she created a revised edition. Many people know it as the Yellow Book. Expanded, revised. She recommends only using that one from now on, just because, you know, she went back and tweaked the way that things are presented, and made them a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more universal, and the order in which they're presented, just to make sure that they're helping everybody as much as possible. She calls it psychophysical approach to tuning, training, and activating the body's resources for creating a free and natural voice. She says there are two maxims that underlie all work done with the voice. Blocked emotions are fundamental obstacle, are the fundamental obstacle to a free voice. Blocked emotion. And then muddy thinking is the fundamental obstacle to clear articulation. She really thought that so much of what's going on with our voice is the fact that it's not free. And that's the blocked emotion that's causing it to not be free. Because once you start blocking something in the body, let's say a lump in your throat, which is you stopping yourself from crying or from emoting in some way, will then stop the rest of things from moving so freely. And your voice is so, not finicky, but so attuned and so sensitive that it really feels these blockages in so many ways. So that's why she's working with the whole body. Linklater's connection to Shakespeare and Company, they adopted her practice and use it in their training programs. And though she is left and she's been back in England and works worldwide and continues, there are Linklater institutes in New York, in London, and I think a couple other places all over the world, but they are training certified Linklater instructors. My connection is through Shakespeare and Company. In 2017, I did a month-long intensive. It was 6 days a week, 16 hours a day, Linklater every day for multiple hours. And then I worked with those certified instructors since then who live in the city to help create a course for, especially for youth. I teach high school age artist students, a theater class in Rhode Island for a while. I created a theater program at the local high school there and learn from these certified instructors how to create this fundamental course that can just be a nice basic for anybody and that is appropriate for children. This obviously is for everybody, but I wanted to make sure that it was universal enough so it's nice and well-rounded. After the workshop today, we're going to email you a packet. It has just kind of an overview of the different moves that we were going through, the different exercises. So you don't need to worry about writing things down or remembering things. So we can just focus on the moment. I can take time with people if I need to adjust anything, or if anyone has any questions, or if, you know, trying to explore and all those things. We can take the time with that. We don't have to worry about remembering what I said throughout these 2 hours. But yeah, that's my quick introduction. Couple of things. If you don't have water, maybe grab that right now. Let's see, water. I have a little towel because I'll sweat a little bit. I have a yoga mat set up. If you have just a clean area of floor, but you don't have a yoga mat, that's all we need. Just somewhere where you're going to be at the beginning for a little bit, and then the rest of the time we'll be mostly standing, but we will be not rolling around, but we will be on the ground just for a little bit while we're checking our breath initially, just starting with those fundamentals. And what else? Water, towel, yoga mat. I think Aaron let you know, have comfortable clothes because there will be stretches and everything. Any questions or any problems before we get started? No? Great. I see someone's grabbing some water or something, so I'll let her do that really quick when she gets back. For everyone else, let's...
John, can you go over the best way for them to set up their device so that they can be seen the way that you want to see them?
Yes. It's basically just make sure that it's tilted to a certain way so that for the first part, I'll ask you to tilt it a little lower. We'll be standing for a little bit and then we'll go down. And once we come back up from being on the ground, maybe I'll have everybody readjust theirs so that we can, so we'll just be on a standing position. But for right now, if you could adjust where you're going to be, so your device pointed to wherever you're going to be standing, and then kneeling for that. I will do the same. So what I'm going to do on my phone is I'm going to turn it for this first little bit so that you'll be able to see me both standing and lying down. I'll do that now. There we go. I see everyone is back. I assume, Josh, are you ready? I know we can't see you, but I want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm in a clear space and I'm standing.
Fantastic. That's all I needed to hear. One quick thing before. So a lot of times, especially when we're in class situations, what Linklater exercises we'll start with is a walkabout. This is just something to get you out of your mind and into your body, or especially to start activating your impulses to move. A walkabout is simply walking around a space, filling the negative areas, filling the empty gaps. And obviously, as you move, there will always be new empty gaps moving. And if there are more people, you'll see as they move away, you'll be able to move into those empty gaps. And one of the things is, if you start to find yourself in a pattern, most common is walking around in a circle or the figure eight, break it, do something else. And it just allows you to start being aware of patterns so that you can break them. With today, we're all kind of separate. We're all in small confined spaces that the walkabout would basically just be, you know, in circles. So these quick augments for that is we'll do a quick shakedown and a quick turnaround and whenever we need to go in between motions. So just to keep that in mind. But we're going to start with some physical awareness, just to let our bodies say hello and say hello to our bodies. So the first thing I want you all to do is go to where you're have some space. You don't need too much, but where you're just able to stand up straight without any impediments, any around. And just
John, if I can jump in real quick. Everyone, I have a disability in my left shoulder and ribs. And so there's going to be a few exercises that that I'm only going to be able to use my right arm. But you're supposed to use both arms. It's just I can't do that. So I just want that to be out. If you see me, you know, in the little screen with only one arm going, you know that's what the case is. So I just wanted to get that out real quick.
Thank you, Liv. That's a universal thing. Like I said, Linklater really was able to augment for any you know, physical impairments in mobility inabilities. So we are able to augment as needed. If anyone else has those issues, either let me know or just you know, augment as you feel necessary. There should not be pain for anything. Any of these stretches are just minor stretches. This is not yoga. So we'll be bending over. I know that might be a hard one for some people with bad backs. Just remember, you don't need to flop down. You can take your time. It's all about just allowing yourself to feel comfortable in this. This is not, it's not strenuous stretching in any way. So don't feel that you need to go that route. And if you have an issue, please type in the text and Aaron will bring that to my attention. Thank you very much for that. So standing, feet underneath you. And right now, all we're doing is getting awareness. We're going to start activating things in just a second. But one thing we want is to feel the tripods of our feet. What that means is that each foot has basically three major bones that you're able to tripod onto. So you can feel the heel and the ball, each of those three. And I'm starting with my left foot, and then I'm allowing that to feel all three of those tripods underneath me. And now I'm focusing on my right foot while getting those three tripods underneath me on here. And bend your knees just a little bit. You could sway a little bit.
I'm sorry, did you say it was the heel, the ball, the foot, and what else?
It's the ball and the two bones of the heel.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Thank you. Yeah. And Johanna, remember, I do have a handout that I'll be giving at the end, so you don't need to.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, no problem.
No, that's quite all right. Yeah. So, of each of those of your feet, and like I said, allow yourself to sway a little bit, and then when you can bring yourself to stillness, and now just check in. Close your eyes and just feel. Remember, your knees are slightly bent. Nothing locked at this point. Your hands are swaying at your sides and they can slowly come to stillness. You feel those tripods of your feet underneath you, and you're checking in. How am I feeling right now? You don't need to answer this out loud, but you do answer to yourself. Am I feeling kind of crappy? Am I feeling kind of good? Is that tea that I just had earlier kicking in? Where am I starting out with? A big thing with Linklater is allowing yourself to start from the place you're actually starting. If you're feeling like something's really hurting, if you're feeling like you're really stressed out, if you're feeling just in the dumps, or if you're feeling super great, those are your places to start, and that's fine. But the more aware you are of that, the more you'll be able to allow that as your starting place. Now, we're going to feed in a couple of impulses of horizontal yawns. So now a yawn is normally vertical. You normally like let your mouth open wide. So let's see if you can feed in an impulse of actually allowing your mouth to widen out horizontally as you yawn too. So. In addition to that, start feeding just for large. However, not to be. Great, yeah. Next thing is I think it was Cody, starting to do it. Or Corey, sorry. Starting to roll your shoulders. Roll your shoulders a little bit to the front, and then the other way to the back. And you can start to move your neck a little bit and stop your shoulders and allow a full roll of your neck. 2 or 3 times one way, and then back the other way 2 or 3 times. And give it a little shake, starting with your shoulders. Great. And then with your hands at your side, just start to beat. And like I said, if people have back problems, just do what you can. But we're going to start to go down and pat the sides of your legs. And let's go over to the left leg only and just pat both sides. You get the top, so you get a couple of pats. And then pat the left leg, the right leg. Pat it. The back. Around. And then I'm going to go back. Torso. Just a little bit of your stomach, a little bit of your back. Hit one arm. I'm doing my right now. And then coming back, and then going over to the left. And get back. You can only go up to the top of your shoulders, not really to your neck. And then stop. Bring that. All right. So we're going to, this is the usual way is a drop down and a slow roll up. Once again, if that drop down is difficult for anyone, just bring yourself down as far as you're able to. It's not a hard stretch. It's allowing the weight of your body to flop a little. Once you're down here, just do a quick breathe in and out. Shake your head, yes. Shake your head now. Shake your head, yes. And then slowly build one at a time, one on top of each other. This imagery is going to come back a couple of times, and we'll build upon this imagery. One vertebrae building on top of another, up to the very top vertebrae, which is about as big as your pinky bone. And that's where your skull sits on. And so if you shake your head, you feel it back and forth on the top of that little pinky bone. You shake your head no. You feel it sliding back and forth. And then you can kind of give a little bit of a wobble back to stillness. Okay, this is when we're going to start to go down to the floor and breath awareness. So we're opened up the body, we've activated the body, we've checked in with the body a little bit, And now we're going to start to check in with the breath. And we're going to start with the breath awareness on the ground. So let's get there. So let's do another roll down. We're going to roll up, then we're going to roll back. Take your time as you need. Like I said, if you can, do kind of a flop down. Slow roll. And look up, look straight. And then once again, when you're ready, I'm going to allow a little bit more time for people. I see people coming up, so I'm waiting. Don't worry. And then when you're ready, we're going to go one more flop down. We're going to stay down there this time. While we're down here, I'm going to give that shake of the head yes. I'm going to give that shake of the head no. And then we're going to allow our buttocks to come down into a squatting position. We still have our heads down. Our arms are somewhat loose and kind of in front of us. We're just kind of looking down in the squatting position. And soon we're going to allow to our butts. So if you're able to do that right now and have your arms around your knees. If you need to adjust ever so slightly, and then come to our backs. I'm going to move sideways just so you're able to see me a little bit more. Okay. Keep your left leg, your left knee close to your chest, and your right leg, just shake it out a little bit. Just shake it out however you feel. If you could go to the side, great. If you just can do straight up because of spatial restraints, great. It's just a nice little shake. And then when you're done with that, bring that one next to your chest and allow the left one to release.
Oh.
Good. And bring that one close to your chest. And so with both knees close to your chest, actually keep those knees there. Release your arms out into a T position. And let your legs, let both knees slowly go down to one side. I'm going to the right this way. And as you do that, your head goes to the left. So you're kind of in a T formation, except the legs are creeped together, almost in the fetal position. With your head facing the opposite direction of where your knees are. And then bring your knees to center. And your head to center. And let the other way go. So I'm going knees to the left, head to the right. And give a nice breathe in here. See how there's a little bit of a restraint because your stomach is slightly twisted. You might feel that. And just start to check in with how you're breathing. Might still be a little elevated from those shakes. Might be coming back to normal. And with that, bring your knees back to the center, your head back to center. And for right now, grab onto them. And I'm going to come up. You stay where you are. I'm just coming to check on you guys. Perfect. That's looking great. So with one of your arms around your knee still, can you put another arm on your belly? Just anywhere where you can feel the movements of your breath. Where I want you to start checking in. So check in with how you're breathing right now, the rhythm of your breath, with these simple little exercises with you now on the ground, which the skeleton is in a pretty comfortable format, in almost the fetal position on its back. It allows your body to breathe really just naturally. Now, as you're doing this, slowly allow, and I'll demonstrate this, with your arm, release the arm that's around your legs and just allow those to come to a position where your feet are flat on the ground. You have your knees on the air. nice arch, feet flat on the ground. Now your back is flat on the ground. And take that hand that's on the belly. Now you can put it really kind of more belly, center to side. So you feel that motion. You feel just the ins and outs. And something that Linklater introduced, which was hard for me to understand at first, but I really do get it, is that allowing breath to be a release. Not just a release out. I understood that one right away. Sure, you hold your breath for long enough, it just wants to go out. But also a release in. That every time you breathe, you're not forced anything. You're not pushing the air inside. You're just releasing the air to the inside. So, once again, we're still just checking in on our breath. This is where all of our activation starts. Breath can create initiative. It can create instinct. It creates vocalization. It creates. So it's the essence, so much of what we do with our voice and with our body. So allowing that to is a really big thing. Okay, I'm going to come up and then I will start to bring people up, but you stay down and just keep on checking in on your breath. That's wonderful. That's great, guys. While you're there, allow your on the out release. So something to think about is what if you just hold your breath until you allow that release to happen, which means that if you have an instinct to, an impulse to release out, you know, the air is in there, it wants to go out, it goes out. What if you do not have yourself breathe until the impulse for release in occurs? And that's when I really started to understand that it can be released both in and out, because the breath just wants to go there. And so instead of trying to force it in because you know you need that air, you just allow it in and you allow that release into your lungs and the release. On the next release out, and for the next couple, can you do this? It's very, very gentle. There's no vocalization. It's not on voice. It's just on breath. So allowing your mouth to just slightly create F noises. So do that for the next couple breaths. Okay. Couple more. And in about 10 seconds, we're going to release that and bring ourselves up. So I'll get to where you are so I can model. Fantastic. So bring your knees back to your chest. You can give it a little squeeze with your hands. You're going to allow yourself to rock, however happen, onto where you're kind of in the position here. There. Great. And then from the child position, bring yourself up to that crouching position. So you're allowing your head to be heavy once again, once you're in that position. And the next thing you would do, we're reversing how we got down. So the next thing that will happen is our tailbone will go up, but our head and our upper body and our arms will remain relaxed. So they'll still drape over. Our tailbone up. And we have this. I'm going to just look really quick. Wonderful, wonderful. That's great. All right. And then shake your head yes. Shake your head no. And that's just to make sure that you're actually allowing that head of yours to weigh over and not putting any pressure on making it be straight up. It can just have all that weight just lay on down. And so that skull is going to be the last thing that really activates. As we're slowly building our vertebrae, one at a time, slow as you need. Still looking down the ground because that skull is just allowed to be as heavy as it needs to be until finally that one top of the vertebrae, just holding that skull up. I look up, and I look straight, and then I shake no, and I shake yes. Great. And everyone's up to standing position. Wonderful. We lost Jackie's video, but she's still on, I believe. So I'm going to continue. Karen, if you could take her. So that's just physical awareness into breath awareness. The next thing, my team like to call it the puppet master. And so we're going to imagery. And it is literally the puppet master, where you are the puppet. And at this point, I believe, let me see if I can. There we go. I'm just bringing my, it's a little bit higher because we're going to be going up now. Where we were going down before, we are now going upward. So the puppet master, you are the puppets, and there's a puppet master directly above you. Now there are strings. They are attached to both elbows, both wrists, and elbow fingers. And it's in those. Olive will have to augment this. Normally it would be with both at the same time.
Yeah.
And so you want to bring your elbows not only up, but in front of you. So you're not going straight out, because that causes a little bit of impediment physically. So if you go in front and then up. And so there's that. And I'm just showing it. And then there's the, and then we're going like that. And then we're going like that. And it's really that there's a nice string that is pulling you up. And so when you feel these, I'm going to say the strings are built up from elbow, wrist, fingers. And then we'll be holding them with some energy with each of those. Any questions before we continue? Great. Okay. So, see someone is. Okay. So, elbows, wrists, fingers. So the puppet master first builds up the elbows. Remember, it's forward and up. So, boop, and it's as high as you can. Some energy. Great. You got that? Great. And now the wrists, and so that's just all the way up. It moves your elbows even because the wrists are now, but your fingers are still nice and loose, right? And now the fingers. So it's each 10 fingers are being pulled all at the same time. So now we feel energy all the way through our arms, from our shoulders up through every fingertip. And now in 1 second, the puppet master will cut the finger strings only. So only the fingers will loosen. And when that happens, you just let them go, because there are no more strings. So those are cut. And it's just the finger strings. So now your wrists are the ones being held. And once the wrists are held, remember the elbows are next, so they will still be held, but the wrists will go limp. And those are cut. And then finally, the elbows are cut. And they just flop down, right? And we're going to build that up 2 more times. Ready? So, elbows, wrists, fingers, cut, cut, cut. Great. 1 more time, and I'm going to be looking at all of you, so I'll be to the side. And elbows, wrists, fingers, and feel that stretch. And it's not because you are needing to stretch, it's just because there's energy happening, and you are dangling from these strings. And the first are cut, cut, and finally cut. Now,
That's a stretch for sure.
yeah, it is.
Really feel it.
Yeah, a lot of these stretches you will feel. It's just Linklater always to reiterate, it's not yoga, so don't go into those things where you're trying to stretch slightly beyond where you were before. You're going to where your starting point. But thank you. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I felt that too. All right, so like I said about that augmented walkabout, we're going to spin around and shake it out. So spin. And All right, the next thing we're doing, I'm gonna grab a drink of water, is a touch of sound. If you read Linklater's book, the first thing you notice is the touch of sound is really the chapter heading of this entire section. Of everything we're talking about has to do with this moment of touch of sound. And this is the moment where we actually start to bring that in. All this is building up to that. So these are the foundations leading up to this and then moving into more sound of it. So with this visualization, I was taught this beautiful imagery of how to connect yourself to the earth. And it's you've probably heard this from different forms of exercise imagery, of being a tree rooted to the ground. We're going to use that. And so we're starting with those tripods. Remember those tripods from the very beginning? 3 bones on in each foot. Now let's come back to that. Remember, so give your knees just a slight bend. Nothing really big, nothing even noticeable, just so that you're allowing that blood to flow. You can close your eyes with this and start to imagine those tripods as the base of your tree. And feel the connection to the earth as the roots starting to grow down and allowing yourself to be really connected to the ground that you're on. Feel that. You feel your lower legs building upon your ankles, building upon your feet, connecting your knees to your calves, and your calves building upon that. It's like your tree is growing, and your hips are connecting that base, that trunk, that massive connection that leads to those roots connecting you're standing on. And as you build up further, your torso is built and it stands one very connected. That's to let us know that we will be breaking soon. We'll do it after this such a sound. I apologize for that alarm. And as your torso is connected and built upon the trunk that is your hip, you have limbs coming out. And allow those just to go down to your side. And allow one of them to be nice and heavy. And whichever one you choose, allow that one to connect to your stomach. Once again, we're feeling for breath. Now, what you want with this breath is a nice in so that you feel your stomach being pushed down by the diaphragm whenever you breathe in. And you feel the diaphragm pushing and allowing your stomach to go back into its normal place as it pushes the air out of your lungs. And that's what's happening normally with your body. If you're feeling a little tension there, it's fine. That's normal. We have a lot of tension there. Protection. It's one of our main defenses. How we create that barrier of protection between us and society and our own fears, etc. Right now, we want to let that go. We want to thank you and say, you know what? You're not needed right now. I just want to feel relaxed breath. If you're allowing yourself, see, I even felt a little bit extra there, and I allowed my stomach to just drop in with the next diaphragm pull. Now, and obviously your neck is growing out of that torso and your head gently on top of it all. And now, as you're feeling yourself, breathe in and out. Give yourself a little sway, like a tree would sway with the wind. And you could go back and forth. If you feel a little bit more adventurous, you can even go forward and back. But don't be too quick with that. We don't want any falling over. And just allow yourself to sway for a little bit while you're still holding yourself. Every time I talk, I give myself extra tension, so I'll let that go. Allow your jaw to be soft and your lips to be slightly parted. Now, I know that there's that old stereotype of the mouth breathers, but for right now, we can be mouth breathers. It's okay. We don't need to be this. We just need to be just in and out. Allow that tree to come to stillness. Now keep your eyes closed and imagine this tree that you've built, this tree that is you. Part of it, let's say from, around the hip area, is in a big pool. A pool in the woods. And this pool is not a normal pool of water, but it is a pool of vibration. Now, I love this imagery because it's open for anyone. I see translucence and colors and things just whipping around in this pool. But however, a pool of vibration might seem to you, imagine it now. And that you, as this big tree connected to the earth with these deep roots connecting you, allowing you to just stand there with no tension, no need for anything, but just to be as trees be, this nice pool all around you. Now, because we're amazing imaginative people, we're able to imagine a little bit of ourselves, a little tiny self on the outside of this pool, looking in. And they see the that is you, up and down, connected, and they see this huge pool of vibration. And this tree beautifully coming out of the pool of vibration. And this little you looks down into the pool, and it starts to see these little bubbles of intention. These intention bubbles are little bubbles that pop from the bottom of the pool of vibration and slowly, slowly make their way up. And when they get to the top of that pool of vibration, they come out with a little noise. And I'll demonstrate that for you now. Get closer to make sure. This is just a touch of sound. It's very, very little. And so the noise is just simply, Now you can feel that intention bubble because it's coming on breath. Breath can help with intention, and intention creates the touch of sound. So you feel it in your stomach. You feel how your diaphragm is opening your lungs up. And then when it's ready to release the air out, it comes out with a little bubble of intention of up. If you could do that a couple times with me now. The wonderful thing about this pool of vibration is that it is unending, and these intention bubbles can even come up two at a time. It might look like this. Puff, puff. It's no vocalization as of yet. We're not on voice. It's just purely the puff, H-U-H sound of allowing a little bit of air to pass through the vocal cords without clamping down. That touch of sound. Puff. I'm going to come over and look as people are doing that. So continue with that. Great. Wonderful. The two things that Linklater wanted us to keep in mind, especially with this tree imagery, is lengthening the spine while letting the stomach muscle go. Sometimes one wants the other to activate. When we lengthen that spine, as we did for these trees that we created, sometimes we want to get that muscle because we're so tall, we're a little vulnerable. And so I personally, as a tall person, clamp my stomach muscle down. So she's always wanting to remind us, lengthen the spine, let the muscle go. Lengthen the spine, let the stomach muscle go. And so as we're doing these touches of sound, that's another thing to keep in mind so that we're not clamping down on our stomach muscles, that we're not starting to allow the spine to curve, but still keeping it lengthened as that tall tree. And a couple more. Puff, puff. Puff, puff. Now this tree is magical in this beautiful pool of vibration, and it turns into a fountain. A fountain that may look like a tree, but it is very mobile. Made of stone, it's not made of anything, can't move. And this tree fountain can actually bend over and spill back into the pool. The vibration of this pool of vibration, of this fountain. And so that's going to come with us flopping down. So if you need to just slowly bend over, or if you could just flop the spine down, however. And so that comes down. And from down here, still with a hand on our stomach, what the other hand is allowing it to go long and go towards the ground. Again, stay over, I'm just gonna come and look. more of these touches of sound. So more ha, ha, ha. Great. Fantastic. So you're allowing that spillover. You're allowing these intention bubbles to spill up into the fountain, puff, spill over, and be replenished back to that pool of vibration. And so we're going to slowly build ourselves up, and as we do, we're going to add the touch of sound to this very mobile, this very movable, formable fountain. So as we build up one vertebrae and then the other, puff, puff, puff. When you get to the top, that's big now. And then feel for one arm, up. So from here, we're actually going to do a little bit of that intense bubble, a little bit of that bubble on our lips. And so we'll be able to play around with it. I love to feel the imagery of chewing, allowing that vibration to just roll up my lips before I release it. And so that looks, and I allow the bubble to come up. And so try that for a little bit. And my teacher created this imagery of the fingers in front of the lips just to show visually how that vibration gets chewed over and over and just deliciously chewed by the lips before allowing it out. And so I like to have stuff. I like to see, both as I'm even closing my eyes, I like to physically see, bring that into the bubble to the top. Yeah, perfect. Great. So we're at everyone. Want to do 10 more minutes of this and then take a break, or would you like to take a quick break now?
Break would be awesome now, if possible.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's a 5-minute break. Is that good for everyone?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I just have to use the bathroom. Thank you.
Yeah. So 3:06. We'll come back. There's no even 2 hours and breathe out. So.
And a 5-minute break. Bed Bath and Beyond. Even online, they're out of Conair. So I called Conair and told them my problem. I got a very nice woman. They're sending me one that I'll get within 7 to 10 business days with a return label for the one that isn't working. And they're not charging me. There is now. I can get it, if you put it on red, it works somewhat. Also, underneath it, I put the old one, which has always worked. You hear me? Yeah, I'm glad you appreciate my efforts. I was on the phone for a half hour with this woman. Well, I told her my situation and that I can't get it anywhere, and I can't take it back to Bed Bath & Beyond because they're closed. They do want me to they're sending a shipping label when it comes to take it to UPS to take it back on Murray Street. Wonderful, you can take. Good, wonderful. Let's see what happens. Why don't you want me to give these papers to Cheryl? I was going to put in some stuff in the but you didn't do that. I didn't get to that. There's too much shit there. Listen, I picked up gold papers in the kitchen, and then I just came into the bathroom, and there were more of them next to the wastebasket. Can you not stop? Excuse me, miss. I'm tired of this shit. And you don't see them, and I pick them up nonstop.
Sorry about that, everyone. I went ahead and muted and stopped the video there so that we aren't privy to any more personal situations going on.
I thank you for that.
You're welcome, Olivia.
All right. I'm back. Josh, because I know we won't be able to get video on you. Are you back and ready to rock, Josh?
Yep, I'm here.
Great. I think everyone else. Jackie.
I'm here.
Okay, great.
Did you all hear Mark screaming just now?
Yeah, we went ahead and muted you and turned off your video just for privacy for yourself. If you can turn your video back on, then we'll be able to see you.
Thank you very much. It's laundry time and he gets really upset about it.
Totally understand. Totally got it.
I don't. I'm glad you do.
I thought it was an exercise I was missing from the other room when I went to the bathroom.
Right.
Another exercise.
So the next thing, we're going to start amplifying this touch of sound. And so how we can do that is, so we're going to give a couple of stretches. And this is nothing, don't hurt your lips, don't hurt your mouth. But if you need to, I just went and washed, but if you actually need to wash, you're going to put your fingers right here inside and give a stretch on the outside. Does anyone need to? I see someone need to go wash. Yeah, it's not anything invasive, nothing big, but it's just stretching your mouth in a way that doesn't normally get that kind of stretch. And so it's just activating a little bit more of your lip muscles. So once again, Great. Now, we're going to blow and flutter through the lips. Once again, still activating. Move this up slightly. So, all from kindergarten to our last acting class. And now we're going to add in that touch of sound. One more of those for everyone. Once we're done with the flutters, we're going to bring back in that touch of sound. And so get that belly and allow that belly to be loose. If it's tightened up over the break, that happens. Allow that to be loose. And after a couple breaths in, feel that intention bubble rise to the top. And we're going to capture it again. So it's going to be the now start to. And so men, you're going to be right around me. Women, you're going to be right around an octave above. So go higher or don't go lower. Beautiful. Touches the sound. This is going open. A little but should never front. They should never feel. So keep on doing that and add in rolling your neck. Just mention that. So,
what is the noise we're making then? Can you just one more time? I'm sorry. It's the noise that we're making. What are we doing again?
It's the noise that we were bringing before. So it's capturing it, but we're adding pitches to it, and it's not. Okay. We're not all the same pitch, and so you allow your natural range to just go up and down with pitches. And what we're adding now is rolling our neck around ever so softly. Once again, allow that neck to be wonderful. A couple more seconds of that. Fine. Roll up while continuing these on-hit touches of sound. And stillness and down. And allow a couple just completely bent over. And then very, very slowly roll up, allowing several different times of the beats of And you can start to even get a little vibration by adding in some simple bounce of the knees and shoulders. So the shoulders can bounce like this. Let's start with just the shoulders and then add in down while these are bouncing. And now the beat, the knee and bounce. Just kind of bounce. You can release both hands, just allow more of a bounce. And with that, bring it down. I'm going to continue on. Great. Wonderful. couple more seconds. 2 more in 10 seconds. Stillness. Great. Let's yourself a turnarounds and shake out. So this is our walkabout. So turn. You all stay standing, but just because this is now close-up stuff, I'm going to start doing jaw exercises. So I'm going to come up close to you just so you see me, but please stay standing so you keep yourself activated. So we're massaging the jaw hinge, right at the hinge, that big old muscle, nice forward circular motions. That's great. Nice. Nice. Maybe give a yawn with it. Linklater loved yawns, by the way. Yawns are bend with this. It's a very nice way of opening up everything. Now, bring your hand. So it's a lobster cradle. Yeah, that's great. Let me make sure. Yeah. Olivia's doing it the one-handed way. That's perfect. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so you have that, and you're gonna not side to side because the jaw doesn't want to go side to side. Wants to go back and forth and up and down. You're going to do it not side to side. Keep going. Just touching you. Can you bring your video up just a little bit so I can see you? Are you on a computer? Can you tilt the computer back a little bit?
Are we physically moving our jaw, or like with our hands, or?
Yeah, but remember, not at all. That's not good. Just showing.
I'm sorry.
So what we're come to stillness, and actually that's a really good question. Just to clarify, what we're doing is allowing the jaw to be a little loose, like our stomach. One of the big the more the jaw is,
It can
the
be
more
difficult to do it first, just
Yeah.
to jump in, just because it's I mean, a lot of people clench their jaws.
Oh, I definitely do.
A lot, so it can be hard before you're able to let those muscles go. Just to jump.
But am I actually like pulling on my face, or am I just supporting it? Like I'm without pulling it?
You're not looking down. What you're down.
Yeah.
Its natural range. What you're trying to do is get it to do its natural range, but not have the jaw work. Have your hands do the work so that it releases the jaw. So it's
I see.
Yeah. Jaw doing the work, getting that. Now let's do while holding this. We don't need to do that anymore. If you find more tension coming in, you can always go back to that. But right now, let's just move forward with, we're going to do a sigh. So we're holding the jaw, and we're allowing the jaw to be held by your hand and kind of be down and out of the way, kind of like this. And we're just going to quickly do a sigh. So no sound on it. Jackie, that's a little too much sound at this point. So
I know. I just got tired. My back got tired. Right.
Just make it.
Yeah.
We're gonna loosen the jaw while doing that sigh. So we no longer have that sound of the yeah-yeah-yeahs. We've moved all that, and now it's just sighing. over and over again, about 5 times while you're just loosening the jaw some more. Great. And we're not going to go through every one of these, but as variations, you can do this as I had all of you doing it standing. You can then bring yourself over. I'll just do a quick, if you'd like to follow me, but we won't be doing it for any sustained amount of time, but we're going to be going over and continuing that. And then and on the floor, back on the floor with your legs in that position where your 2 feet are on the ground as well. And once again, moving your jaw back and forth while these sighs of relief are occurring. The one thing she really wants you to focus on is your thoughts, not your jaw. Not like, how do I get this jaw to stop being so tense? But just like, I'm breathing right now. I'm doing weird sighs of relief. Oh, this relief. Focusing on that.
So what did you say? Not your jaw. What?
The focus should be on your thoughts, not your jaw.
Okay, gotcha.
Focus on the jaw. The more the jaw wants to have that tension. It says, "Oh, you're thinking about me. Great." And we want to move that.
Yeah, exactly.
Sighs of relief and move the body into the positions really help with that.
Cool. Thank you.
Are ready. Bring yourselves up, and if you've gone all the way down, I'll help you come back up. I see some of you are on the ground, so start to bring yourself up. Great. Just come to the crouching position, and we'll come up together. So bring the tailbone up to the air. And while we're doing this, we might as well continue with that jaw exercise to do it one last thing. So bring your hands to the jaw, and as we slowly build up each word. Wonderful. I'll let people finish that. Take the time you need. Johanna, that's great. There's Jackie. Fantastic. Great. Okay. And if you spun one way, spin the other way, go to a couple of spins and a shakeout. This next exercise is one of my favorites. It's called the sound gallery. Now, all of us have this beautiful masterpiece of a work of art created on the back of our tongue. Now, this artist was so amazing. They were able to create this masterpiece on the back of the tongue. And that's called this gallery. This gallery is about to show this masterpiece to the world for the very first time. Now, the first thing we need to do is that this beautiful masterpiece exhibit is coming, that it will be here in 1 week. And how we do that, with, so your tongue is going to be down at the bottom, front bottom of your teeth, behind, like this, here. Touching the back bottom of your teeth. And you're gonna, with your jaw relaxed, this is all coming from the jaw support, so you can even have a hand on your jaw to make sure it's nice and relaxed and out of the way. This tongue is going to go, hee, ya, ya, ya.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Jackie, make sure that you're not to the sides. It doesn't want to go to the sides, just up and down, up and down. There you go, much better. And come to stillness. This next one is the announcement that the unveiling will be happening tomorrow. It's the big unveiling of this masterpiece on the back of your tongue. And that is going to be shown with the he la la la, which is la la la. So it's the tongue now at the top back of your teeth. and clicking down. La, la, la.
La, 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 la,
With just one hand.
la, la,
La, la, la, la.
la, 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 la.
And Jackie,
What am I
feeling
doing?
to make sure it's loose. That he, every time we have an announcement, the he is what helps to get the jaw out of the way. It's the he. It's he, la, la, la. And then the jaw shouldn't move after that for that motion. So he, la, la, la. And I'm coming.
John, you're a little cut off. Yeah, we can't really see your face before.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
He, la,
he,
la,
la, la, la. See how my jaw does after that point? So he, la, la. He, la, 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 la.
He, la, la, la. He, la, la, la. He, la, la, la. He, la, la, la.
I'm looking at others.
La, la, la.
Aaron, there's some chats. Is that something I need to be looking at?
La, la, la.
Okay.
No, I'm working on the chats. The issue is that you're cutting in and out sometimes with the sound that's coming in from other people's devices. So the issue, though, is that if everyone mutes, then when you ask them a question, they have to stop what they're doing and go and adjust their device. So just trying to limit any extraneous noise would be helpful.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah. When I'll ask people to come to stillness when I'm going on to the next instruction, so it comes out clear, and then we'll allow that time for people to do the exercise with the noise.
And then as the co-host, I can definitely mute someone if I know that it's coming from one specific place. I can do that, but yeah.
Okay, so we were on the announcement. Let's just finish that. I'm showing close, and then remember, I'll be standing for it. He, so the he rings the jaw out of the way. He, la, 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 Missy, I can't. Yeah, how it looks like you're getting your jaw. You don't need to put your jaw down. Just make sure that the jaw is out of the way. So I don't know if you're
hard to not move it.
Yeah, it is. And that's
pretty,
the tension that's wanting to push up. And that's what this exercise is about.
Wait, is it tongue down on that or is it up?
The second one is up that clicks down. So it's la, la, la. Top, back of the teeth, and down. La, la. Starting with the top teeth. Can you get your tongue up there?
La, la, la.
That's great, Jackie.
La,
Yeah.
la, la. La, la, la.
Okay, and stillness. And finally, the unveiling of the masterpiece. And this is so much fun so we are going to unveil our masterpiece. Do you remember where the masterpiece is? The back of our tongue. So as much as you are able to do that, and I know it looks silly, but hey, my tongue is a silly one, and I love this. So the unveiling is he. So that's tongue at the back bottom. Once again, gets out of the way.
John, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, people come to stillness.
If you do your mouth like open like a lion, like that, so that like that, the tongue can come through like that lion's mouth. That's the imagery that I like stretching.
Yeah, that's great, Liv. So thinking of that horizontal, on horizontally, you're stretching. Jackie, this.
We can't really hear you, John.
Okay, so Jackie and everyone come to stillness. So Liv, we're gonna go through the cycle one more time. So we're gonna do the announcement. Once again, that's he, tongue at bottom, ya, ya, ya. Then the, I'm sorry, that's the announcement that it's coming. The announcement of the unveiling is the second one. He, pocket, top teeth, la, la, la. And then third one is the unveiling. Ready? Go. And the announcement in 1 week for the master is unveiled. Come to this. The announcement that the masterpiece is being unveiled tomorrow. He la la la.
He la 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 la.
Everybody show us your wonderful masterpieces. Okay, a couple more seconds of that. That was the sound gallery. Now we're going to be moving in. Give ourselves another quick shakedown and spin the opposite direction that you did before. And go this way. And shake down. The breath gym. Another one of my, this is a great one. This is a beautiful one. This can be done as a standalone. If you're going in sequence, if you're building to your resonators, you want to wait because it helps to have the other things. But this one, you're not in danger of stressing anything out with this one. You can do it as a quick thing just to give yourself a little extra diaphragm support. So I'm going to go through what it is as I'm explaining it to you, and then we'll do it together. So no one needs to do anything now. This is all just explanation. The first thing we do, we're going to vacuum our lungs. What that means is we're going to literally blow out all the air we can. I'm going to pretend to do it as I talk because I can't do two at the same time. I don't have 4 lungs, sorry. So I'm breathing out. I hold my nose so that I breathe out everything I can. And I want to be at this position when I'm done with my vacuuming. From here, I want to lift, while my lungs are still vacuumed, both of my arms up so that it creates this umbrella with your rib cage, moving all the muscles out, creating this beautiful vacuumed umbrella. So you're like this, and then simply release the air into your lungs. So we're going to do that 3 times, and then we're going to do 4 large sighs of relief. I visualize the sighs, and I like the sighs to come up to here. These are genuine sighs of relief. I'm feeling good. My body's awake. I'm happy about that. And they are simple sighs of relief. So they are 4 times. And then 6 medium sighs of relief. And they come up to here. They're still good sighs of relief. And they're still deeply felt from actual intentions. You know, my feet aren't sweating too bad. Hey, that's great. I'm really bad. No one can tell. So sighs, medium. 6 of those. And then many tiny pants, like a dog would pant. That leads to the visualization of your dog. You're also your own master because we are, and you are lazy dogs basking in the sun on a lazy afternoon and just, but your master brings out a ball. You are the master who has the ball, and you get that dog excited, and so the panting gets faster. Then you finally throw the ball into a sigh of relief. We'll do that a couple more times, and we'll finish it up. Any questions on that? And I'll go quick telling you what we'll be doing in each.
Can you do the first one without talking, just to show what it looks like? The first one with the
vacuuming the lungs, actually doing it. So. That's it.
So when you exhale, it's when your arms come out, is when you exhale. Or
No, well, that's when you inhale because you're back.
oh, okay, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Right. So when you're going in and in and in and in, that should all be pushing all the air out as much as
Okay,
possible.
gotcha. Okay.
I do bounces because that allows that last little bit of air. You're wanting as much of a vacuum. And then in that vacuum state, move everything up. And then you just release the air into your lungs with that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Other questions? Looking around. Okay, so we're going to do the vacuuming of the lungs 3 times together. Ready? And go. One. 2. That's 2. And now 3.
That's intense.
Yeah, it really activates the diaphragm in a beautiful way.
Wow.
Get that diaphragm going a little bit with those sighs of relief. These are 4 large sighs of relief. Bring out the visualization of that. And ready, make sure you got something good, intense, deeply felt. And ready, 1. Great. And 6 medium sighs of relief, 2 right about here. And make sure as relief, as any sigh of relief should happen, your belly nice and loose. So just give a quick check-in before you start them now. And ready, go. Great. And now the many tiny pants. Remembering the dog on a lazy afternoon, nice and slow at first, and introducing the ball, getting more excited. That leads into throwing the ball upon a sigh of relief. So it starts with ha, 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 ha. 2 more times.1 more time. Now we're going to do it on sound. So it's ha, ha, ha. That leads into ha. Ready?
Oh.
Ha, ha, ha,
Oh.
ha,
Oh.
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 2 more times. Ha, 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 ha. Fantastic. I think it's time to get into, I think we're good. We're now to start going to open up some resonators. Someone please.
One of my favorite things.
Oh, me too, me too.
I love this last exercise. Was great. This last series is awesome.
The breath gym. My
All the
students,
breathing, it just feels really like free and open and stuff. Like
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a great way to activate the diaphragm without trying to push on it, without trying to, you know, make it do stuff. It's just allowing.
That's what I end up trying to do because I try so hard in my head to do all those things.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Of course, yeah. Resonators. Someone please tell me resonators. What are resonators? What is a resonator?
Anything that vibrates?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we are creatures of vibrations. And so we have several resonators throughout our body that allows for these special amplification of vibration. We allow for these things that create vibration within us that allow not only sound coming straight from the vocal cords, but really coming from the body that inform, that shape, and that help to create the sound that we ultimately hear that comes out of our mouths, that comes from our voices. So we start with the lower resonators. These are things that if you don't do them in order, depending on your vocal type, depending on your vocal cords, there can be stress, and stress can lead into damage. So make sure that when you are thinking about doing these on your own, that you look over the notes that I hand out, that you make sure that you start with the resonators that are most comfortable to you. The lower resonators
John, real quick before you move on or move into this exercise, Missy wants to know, is sound of air supposed to come out of my mouth whilst I speak?
The sound of air while you speak. That's your vocal quality. Now, normally, the sound of air coming out means that you're not on your voice, and therefore there's a little bit extra air coming out sound-wise that many times, especially in the acting world, unless that character is that person and that's the character you're playing, then of course you do that. But if you're wanting to have a character on their voice, especially with Shakespearean characters, especially with the classical characters, singing characters all really want to be on their voice. And so the sound of air doesn't really happen when you're on your voice. So I'm not going to say that, no, it shouldn't sound like that. It's whatever character, or if that's how you normally with your daily life, but you're able to on sound as an actor or as a performer, that's fine. But typically in the acting world, we usually say that your character should be on their voice, which means that the sound of air shouldn't really be happening too much. Does that help? Does that answer that question? Erin, I know she needs to write it, so let me know.
Yep. Looks like we're good.
Great.
I have that issue as well sometimes where, you run out of breath sometimes if you do that, because I don't intentionally try to talk like that, but sometimes it happens. So this all helps.
Totally. Yep. And people, they say sometimes it's a feminine quality. It's a soft quality. I've done that sometimes to try to soothe people because I have stuff. Yeah. So there are reasons for it. It's just it's on your voice. It's less of that.
It's gonna be hard if you talk too much like that because I'll just get out of breath. So that's my main concern. It's not really.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Thank you.
So these resonators are ways to help amplify, modulate, inform, shape the sound, and create resonation, which is the vibration of that sound beyond just the area of your vocal cords.
Which is really how you talk on your voice, correct?
Say that again?
Which is really how you talk on your voice, using your resonators.
Right.
That's yeah.
Yeah, these resonators definitely help for that talking on your voice, speaking on your voice action too. They really strengthen it. They like I said, inform and shape it. And one of the things, one of the byproducts is having a really strong on your voice when you're activated. As I said, we're starting with the lower ones. You should always start with the lower ones, even if you feel more comfortable with the higher resonators, because it's much more difficult for the lower ones to cause any strain, even in higher speaking people, than the higher ones. And for those who are lower voice people like myself, you understand that higher ones can get real strained real quick if you're not careful. So that's why we always start with lower ones. Starting with the chest, the mouth/hard palate, the chest resonator, the mouth/hard palate resonator, and then the teeth resonator. So those are the first three we're going to do. Before we get into them, any questions?
These will all be on the sheet, right? The worksheet too as well?
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Hey,
All right.
John, are we going to have just a little time for Q&A at all at the end?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Minimum of 10 minutes. I'm going to try to get these in so that we can get that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Okay, so we got to get going. All right, so this one, I love it because I'm a big chest resonator guy. It's fun, even if you're not a chest resonator guy, because you're going to be a huge, strong, strapping giant in the sky. And have your body, I'm going to turn sideways. It's not horribly, you're not bending back, but you're allowing your body to just be straight up until right around here. And then you move your chest back ever so slightly. Now, this will not normally happen. This is not your normal posture, but it's just to help start to feel your chest resonator. And have a hand on your chest so that you can start to feel that. And how we're going to go, I'm going to go forward again. One hand down, other hand on your chest, that chest slightly back, and your neck open, not bent back like that, but just enough for it to be open. And you just do, repeat after me. Ha, ha. Be, again, do it over and over again. Just do just repeat what I say once. So once again, ha ha ha.
Here, I think we should mute because it gets really.
It's going off him to everybody else, so you can't see what he's doing. I keep getting pictures of the ladies.
You can also pin
rather than John.
Yeah.
How can I stop that?
By muting all. It's because of that's how Zoom works. It focuses on whatever voice it picks up the most.
So what you can do is hover over John's
and double tap
video, and there should be 3 dots that show up in the upper right hand corner, and you want to pin this video, and that'll make sure that you only see John on the main part of the screen, and then you can see everybody else above it. Now I'm on the laptop.
The 3 dots don't say pin. Maybe
if you have a phone, double tap it though. If you have a phone.
Yeah, if you're on your phone, then double tap.
Mine just went white.
Oh.
So wait, it'll come back again. Anyway, but I keep on flashing on the women and losing him. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, I just went off. Let's see if I can get you back again. Don't worry about me. Keep going.
If you can turn your video back on, Jackie, and then just for everybody's audio, I'm going to go ahead and mute you all except for Olivia and John.
Okay, cool.
And then you can either raise your hand so I can see you and I'll unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. All right?
Great. Wait for that. That's happened. Great. So once again, go through the sequence. I'll just have you repeat it once, and I'll continue as I see people are done. So again, it's that chest chest slightly back, and on one hand on chest. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Fee fi fo fum.
Fee fi fo fum.
I smell the blood of an Englishman.
I smell the blood of an Englishman.
Be he living?
Be he living?
Or be he dead?
Or be he dead?
I'll grind his bones to make my bread.
Or grind his bones to make him dead.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
This next one, you're gonna have pretty much straight up posture, and so that the chest that was slightly back, you want up normal, kind of like we had with the tree, feeling that the legs slightly apart, about hip width apart, and your head straight forward. And so it's not looking up, it's not looking down, it's looking straight forward. You want to have your hand on your jaw to help to activate the mouth resonator. And you want it to have in your most announcery, broadcaster, anchorman kind of voice, like, hey, hey you.
Hey, hey you.
That's not nice.
That's not nice.
Grinding bones for bread.
I didn't understand you said.
Grinding bones for bread.
Grinding bones for bread.
Is not nice.
Is not nice.
But me, I'm funny.
But me, I'm funny.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Okay, looking, everyone's still good. Wonderful. And now we're going to, so this next one, you want to have your finger right in front of your lips. This is your teeth resonators, as Liv has shown. And you don't want to be touching, but just right in front so that you can feel the air coming out onto your finger. And you'll be able to feel some of the vibrations when this happens. Your posture is going to be now slightly, the chest, now slightly the opposite direction. And your head ever so slightly down, not cranked, but just kind of looking down in front of you. And it's hee hee hee. Hee hee hee.
Hee hee.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Grinding bones for bread is funny.
Grinding bone for bread is funny.
Hee hee.
Hee hee.
And then back to Anchorman. Ha ha.
Aha.
And then back to Giants. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Oh, up. Making sure everyone's good. Yep. We're gonna go up those three and then back down, and then we'll talk a little bit. So ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
That's not funny. This is funny. Ha ha ha.
That's not funny. This is funny. Ha ha ha.
Hee hee hee.
Hee hee.
That's so funny.
That's so funny.
Hee 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 hee.
Hee hee hee.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Fantastic. Any questions on those at this point? So I did want to give time for the Q&A. What I can do is I have the top resonators in the handout, and I wanted to go over them. I'm going to model them for you, but we really don't have time to go further into them. Like I said, they are, oh, thank you. They are the higher resonators. You want to make sure that your bottom resonators are woken up and that your body's woken up. So quick things. The next resonators are the sinus, then the nasal, so sinus, nasal, and then the crown/skull resonator on the top of your skull, the crown resonator. So to start to bring those awake, you close one nostril, sniff in 6 times, and then the other way. And then you take your thumbs and you start to massage the area below your cheekbones. You find a point where there's a bundle of nerves right around where your cheekbones are. Joanna, you're feeling them right there. And you should feel like, oh, wait, those are some nerves there. Oh. And okay to massage those. Those are just tight because they're nerves. And then you go under and kind of just a general from the side of your nose to under your cheekbones. Great. You want to give key, so K-E-E, or I'm sorry, K-A-A, K-A-A, ka, and that's, you want to kind of, it's a difficult thing to explain without being there. You just the yeah. Thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're breathing in as you're saying ka, and what's that doing is activating your soft palate, allowing it to go up. Once, as I said with Linklater, she loves yawns because that also activates that soft palate and pulls it up. So is a quick way, and you could bring a ka into a yawn. All out of the way. Still. This. Why? 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 Oh why? Oh why? Why will you? Why? 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 And then pushing up to the resonators, which is your forehead. You can give it pat. There's not bone there, but if there is muscle, it is there. Go ahead. Pull out from the forehead up, and then way away, way away. Like I said, this quickly as we can without still being quite safe, and then allowing. Hey, that's funny. Hey. Overly simplified description of those top resonators, which are a little bit more advanced anyway. And if you want to explore them more, I highly recommend, maybe taking a class from a certified instructor, maybe taking a secondary class if we are able to do that to get further into those kind of things. And the book is, that's where it all comes from. Hester, I see.
Last three were sinus,
nasal.
Which,
I'm like, nasal, shouldn't that be your nose? No, sinus, nasal, and then the crown or skull. It's known as.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, you do think nasal, you think sinus and nasal are the same, but they're not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And this is leading into the Q&A. So we can definitely talk about what was just happening, but any of the things that we discussed over these past couple of hours.
Are you one of the certified instructors? Can we ask?
No, I'm not certified. I've had a bit of training from certified instructors, but the Linklater Institute, I have not gotten there yet. I'm working.
You're really good though, so I mean, this is very helpful.
So we're always told, as ones who are practitioners and who have training but are not certified, we are modeling these for you. So I'm modeling what I know and from my experience with Linklater. And I want to always stay with the foundation because that really can help everyone. It's these more advanced things that go beyond these resonators and other things. I mean, that's the first chapter of the book, and the book is nice and thick. So there's but this is a great foundation. And for me, as a Shakespearean actor, as a voiceover actor, I find, getting to that point with the breath gym, with the sound gallery to get my tongue nice and loose, get that, if you ever have that lump in your throat, I talked about that before, it is a blocking of emotion. It is wanting to cry or wanting to lash out at someone or wanting to tell someone off, and your tongue saying, no, no, no. And it's literally your tongue balling up in the back of your throat. That sound gallery can really help with that. Breath gym can help with diaphragm. And these resonators can help open up for these voice actors, for singers, for actors, and anyone doing presentations. My kids doing high school class presentations. They do the breath gym before to get themselves ready. So it's really useful for who wants to.
Definitely.
Missy asks if we can email her the handbook and the video recording. So we'll email the handbook for sure. The video recording, we're still trying to figure out how we're going to make those accessible. But the minute that we do, you will be the first ones to know, and that'll be included, obviously, in the class you just purchased. So, so I will be in communication with you when and if that happens. So.
Yeah,
cool. Thank you.
The book at the end, along with the certified instructor who I took most of my lessons from over the past 3 years. He's great. He's making some videos, so it might be a good augmentation or a continuation of what this basic intro was. Yes, Hester.
So John, do you have a daily practice that you've developed, kind of like a yoga routine, involving all of this?
Good question.
You're about to either rehearse or perform. Is it the same? Do you in a short period of time, if you have a crunch with time, do you just go, here's my most important things that I do, like as an actor? Yeah,
the one that I go to the most personally is the breath gym. I find that that's if I can, I do that as a daily routine.
Which one is that? The breath gym?
Breath gym. So that's vacuuming the lungs into the sides of relief, into the many.
That was that was intense, and that was very a lot came out of a short period of time for that one.
Yeah.
And it can be standalone. That's the great thing about the breath gym. The breath gym and the sound gallery can both be standalone. If I'm in rehearsals, I like to have the touch of sound that leads into the resonators. Using my chest resonator long before I ever knew what it was, just because of my low voice, I like the resonators I resonate with in so many ways. So especially the bottom three, but if I'm in performance, I try to activate all of them, because I find, even though I'm not a person who uses my skull resonator a lot, if I activate it in performance, it will help my chest resonator. It will add layers to, I won't all be chesty. I will have these many different layers. If I can,
Sorry, John.
beyond this called Zuwo Sha, a resonator ladder, and it's an advanced version. Once your resonators are open, how you can continue to keep them active and activate them even more. So that would be the last thing I do if I have the most amount of time to prepare for a performance. But in that order: your breath gym, sound gallery, the touch of sound that leads into the opening the resonators, starting with the lower three, and if I can, the upper three. That would be my routine from most basic and most daily with the breath gym.
Thank you.
I do resonators probably is my vacuum in the lungs, and resonators probably more than anything. And you'll find if you're playing a more vulnerable character, oftentimes you'll be more in your sinus resonator, and your upper resonators especially. That's just something that I've learned through my experience in playing the more vulnerable characters. Like, you'll find yourself in that area.
Yeah, even as a deep voice man, Liv was completely right that the vulnerability of those upper resonators, if I can open them up and activate them, I'm able to activate my vulnerability. And it really, that's where emotions can start to flow. That's where I was able to get in touch of my, using emotion in acting and allowing them to flow, as opposed to trying to push them onto or push them away. Linklater and those kind of works, exercises, all of that, allow that flow.
So we have time for one last question, and thank you, Hester, for being here. If you guys have a hard out at 4, please feel free to go. The last question is, John, am I supposed to breathe in and out from my belly only?
No. Well, so
I've had that issue too, yeah.
I was going to say, that was my question about the diaphragmatic breathing.
Yes.
Because you mentioned not pushing it out, like not forcing our diaphragm out.
Right. So it's not pushing your stomach out. It is allowing the diaphragm to do its normal job, which then will push the stomach out ever so slightly. So it's not like that. It is, your breath is just allowing.
So is it something more, once we do these exercises, we don't have to think about it as much? It'll just happen, hopefully?
Right. Well, yes, exactly, because these exercises are to activate the diaphragm so that the diaphragm will stay activated. So it will naturally be doing it.
Okay.
What you want to check in with is that if you're doing chest breathing, which is that's the breath that we're trying to move away from, because it's much more shallow. You can start to hyperventilate. It's not as supported. And so the belly breathing, you're not breathing into your belly. You are breathing into your lungs, obviously. But what the belly breathing means is that your diaphragm is allowing itself to do the job of pushing down, which pushes the belly out slightly, pushes those organs out slightly, while allowing the lungs to fill in with the air. And then it pushes the lungs in and pulls all the air out and allows the belly to go back to where it's supposed to be. So that's what belly breathing means. And yes, that's a more supported breathing than chest breathing, than shallow breathing.
Gotcha. No, yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid. It's just hard when you think about it sometimes a lot. So hopefully these exercises will help.
Yeah, and just bringing that hand back to the belly, because if the belly's tense, that means you're doing more chest breathing.
Okay, gotcha.
The more relaxed your belly can be, the more you can feel that belly movement. And it doesn't need to be a lot. It just needs to feel relaxed and feel free. And once that you start to feel more of that, you will be naturally doing the belly breathing more than the chest breathing.
All right, everyone.
Sweet.
Thank you so much for being here. Later this evening, I will email you all with that handbook, and any last information that John might want to give will include there. I'm also going to include a survey, so you can, anonymously or not, give feedback on this program. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Please check out our website. which I'll include in the email to find out any future classes that we're having. So thanks again, everyone.
This
Bye.
has been great.
Thank you,
so
Tom.
much,
Thank you very
Erin.
much.
Thank you,
This was very
everybody.
helpful.
Thank you,
very
Liz.
much.
Bye.
Glad you-
Thank you. Take care. Be safe.
Bye.
Stay